Welcome to another episode of TechTalk. This is episode 9, season 5. You may be wondering why I'm the one introducing this episode. Well, sadly, Luis is ill this week and he couldn't be here. I wish him a swift recovery and I hope he can join the next episode. So, on that note, bear with me. I promise it's going to be an entertaining ride. Also, because I have two great guests today. And that's Sybil Pasquier. She is an assurance director at PwC Luxembourg and specializes in digital transformation implementation within assurance and our local service delivery center. And we also have with us today Andrew Whiteside. He's a senior manager also at PwC Luxembourg, specializing in the alternatives industry. This is episode 9, season 5. So, welcome. Thank you very much for joining me. I know that this is a very busy period for you.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thanks a lot.
My pleasure. So, besides the job titles that I just mentioned, you both hold another role within the firm, which is Digital Accelerator. In fact, that's the reason why you are here with us today. So, can you tell us about what it's like being a digital accelerator? What does it entail?
Sure, of course. So, I think from my perspective, the role of being a digital accelerator is really someone who is trying to embrace and drive the change in terms of, let's say, embracing the technology and some of the solutions that are out there. So I think, let's say, one of my main tasks is to try and link the business to, let's say, the technology solutions and try and match them and marry them to find ways we can work more effective and productively.
Within the firm or also externally?
The mandate, I would say, goes across. So we have tools externally. So, for example, we take some of the solutions both internally and externally, and we try really to say, okay, how can we use this tool and technology to enhance the way we are working? And often some of the things we are doing is quite monotonous and repetitive. So some of these tools and solutions really help to, I would say, avoid the situation, and we can free up some resources to, I would say, do some more interesting and potentially value-adding work.
Very interesting. Sybil, would you like to add anything?
Exactly, yeah. Actually, Andrew and I, we participated to the same Digital Accelerator lift-off training. So it was in April 2020 during the first lockdown. You remember, Andrew?
Yes.
it was really a nice experience. I must say, I think it is the best training that I have ever had. It was really a nice week of training, really dynamic. We met a lot of interesting people from other countries, from the network, and we still have contact to those people, so that's really interesting. I would say now that I consider myself as a digital ambassador. So I am involved in particular in the operational implementation of new tools involving our internal assurance service delivery center, which is called ADC. So basically my role is to lead the change on the field, to identify digital opportunities and needs, and to share the digital mindset with the teams, and to share this initiative with colleagues from the PwC network. And I would say to summarize that my ultimate goals in this area are really, on one hand, to improve internal efficiencies, and on the other hand, to push digital solutions to the clients.
Okay. Well, you mentioned change, which is the topic as well of our podcast. In your opinion, has technology, and including the almighty internet, changed Christmas and how we celebrate it?
Yeah. Well, I would say definitely it's a big yes. From the way we get ready for Christmas with online shopping, for example, to the way we actually celebrate Christmas by offering digital presents, and also to the way we share our celebrations by using social media, for instance. And I must say that this year it actually even changed the way we celebrate Christmas at work. So in our team, we launched an advent calendar this year with every day a small gift for the team. So it could be a mug, a chocolate, or Christmas playlist, etc. And we initially planned to have the celebrations together at the office, but with the change of the remote working policy at the beginning of December, we had to change to a more digital version of the calendar. And so we adapted a bit the idea thanks to the technology. So instead of having of sharing, for example, a Christmas drink at the office, we did it virtually, and it was really nice as well. Yeah.
That was already a little bit the case last year. I remember for our team, we did it virtually. We had some games, and even, yes, it was, yes, you have to adapt. Also because sadly, the situation seems to be worsening again.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
We have to adapt. Would you like to add anything, Andrew?
No, I completely agree with what Sybil mentioned. I think rightly or wrongly, and I think we come to it in a few questions. Yes, technology is impacting everyday life, and yes, even Christmas is not, I would say, exempt from this. So yes, for sure, Christmas has definitely changed with technology, and luckily for me, as I would say, as an expat living away from family and friends, there are definitely some benefits, but also some drawbacks to that.
That's true. Well, we will come to that a bit later. So, your own experience, how do you usually celebrate Christmas if you do it? And do you feel that technology has changed the way you do it, and how?
Yeah, it has changed the way we celebrate Christmas. I must admit that, for example, I have never been a big shopping fan. I've been shopping online since the very beginning, even and all the more for Christmas shopping. So, and I think that as for everyone, I guess it increased significantly since the beginning of COVID. So, from my point of view, in my personal situation, this is the main impact of technology on my Christmas, is that I do most of my shopping online. Yeah.
What about you, Andrew?
From a shopping perspective, I would
Not
say,
only.
well, like most men, unfortunately, I am the guy running around a few days before Christmas trying to get my wife some presents. So yes, I wish I was organized a bit better. I think for me, honestly, technology has impacted Christmas a lot, especially the way we celebrate. So, for example, in the UK, where I'm originally from, I remember when I was young, we would always sit down and watch the Queen's speech. This was a huge thing, and my grandma was very interested, but the rest of the family had zero interest. So now instead, okay, it's the time when the Queen speaks, we just give her an iPad and she can watch quite happily by herself. So this, yes, I think this is a positive for me. And yeah, even I would say historically, when I was younger, we would enjoy the TV schedule. Now It's not the same. You can turn on Netflix, Amazon Prime, etc. And you skip to the movie you want to watch, and you don't, let's say, waste your time, or you don't have to watch or build up to the thing you want to watch.
That's true, but that means that everyone's doing their own thing. And I think that the communion, the being together part is a bit lost.
Yeah, absolutely. I think,
You have the dinner and the opening presents, but...
Yeah, but even that, for example, I have a young daughter, and she's 6 now, and you get her presents, but within 5 minutes they are all open. So honestly now, okay, when I was younger, we would spend an hour, we talk, we spend time, but now I think the younger generation, it's much more, okay, I want to open my presents, and then you go straight away to play. It's not so much, let's say, the art of spending time with each other and putting down the gadgets which are distracting everyone, and yeah, it's much more, let's say, ad hoc, and everyone is doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Out of the set of questions, when do you open your gifts? Is it at midnight or in the morning the next day? Because we are all from different countries, so we might have different ways. How is it in France?
How is it in France? I would not speak for the whole French population, but in my family, we open the presents at Christmas Eve right after dinner, actually. So
okay.
Maybe at 10 o'clock, something like that, because the kids cannot wait any
yes.
longer.
All right. What about your family, Andrew?
I don't want to offend Sybil, but I have my granddad was German, and one year we celebrated, I would say, the German traditional way, which was opening the presents on Christmas Eve. And it was a disaster. There is nothing better than you wake up on Christmas Day and let's say Santa Claus has been, he's delivered presents, and you are waking up your mum and dad at 5 a.m. to say, look, he's been, come on, let's go downstairs and open the presents. So for me in the UK, I would say it's more normal that we open presents on Christmas Day in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I must admit, now that you say that, we do it twice.
Okay.
We do it on Christmas Eve and in the morning. Yeah.
Also, double gifts?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like the sound of this.
Yes, me too. Very, very nice.
With the two parts of the family, one part of the family at Christmas Eve and the other part on Christmas Day. Yeah.
Well, in Portugal, I think we tend to open the gifts in the eve, on the 24th. Usually it should be at midnight, but yeah, it's true. Nowadays, kids cannot wait. And it's funny because my sister would be, no, we have to wait. She's older than me. We have to wait until midnight. And I was like so eager to open them at 11:30, and now she has kids, but they are very, very little, like 3 years old. 5 years old. Oh my God, time flies. And so, yes, she lets them open earlier. So you see.
We change.
Yes. So next question. Do you usually buy or receive gadgets as a Christmas gift? How do you feel about that? Are you Christmas gadget fans?
No, yeah, I would say answer no to this question. So I really like to offer personalized gifts. For example, the photo books, or with the pictures of the happy moments of the year. Other useful stuff like wine, tea, chocolate, for good mood. And and speaking of digital gifts, I'm pretty sure that we will have major changes in the next years. I, for example, read an interesting article last week about upcoming digital time capsules using the blockchain technology and NFTs, in which we should be able in the near future to store a part of our life, stories, memories, a room of our house, and share that capsule with someone from your family or relatives or at a later stage. So imagine you would receive as Christmas present a caps from your parents, and in that caps you would be able to enter their home as it was years ago, maybe when you were a kid. Or before, so that could be a really nice present and a new way to share moments between the generations.
But it's like a memory. How does maybe I didn't understand what is
this is something which is currently still in development.
Okay.
But it is like it should be a time capsule stored in the blockchain. Yeah.
Okay.
So it will be secured. Only you will have access, and for a limited period of time that you can set up in advance. And in that capsule, you will be able to store videos, pictures, documents, etc. in a secured way, and transmit them to the people you would like to share.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Although I think kids would be very disappointed instead of getting a toy or a gadget. And you, Andrew? Are you a gadget fan?
Yes, for sure I am a big gadget fan, but I'm just trying to recall. So I think when I was younger, so the way it used to work is we had a stocking, and the stocking, if you've been a good boy, which most of the time I was, you had oranges, but then on top, usually what my parents would do is try and put like a small gadget. It's a long time ago, so they were like Tamagotchis and things like this. And often I was so enthralled with these small gadgets that I would not go downstairs to open the main presents for hours. So, for me, honestly, I'm a big fan of gadgets and technology. So I am sure maybe my wife listens to this, I can give her some tips and tricks, but I'm sure I will be getting some gadgets this year also.
So what is on your wish list?
It's a very good question. For me, my wife will hijack it. So my wife is expecting another baby in April. So unfortunately for me, yes, thank you. Most of my presents will be related to the baby. So it will be a joint present for me in the future.
That's
baby.
Sweet though. Very nice. Okay, so next question. from these changes we've mentioned, and there are many more, for instance, e-cards and so on, although I still send postcards to people. So from these changes, which ones do you think have had a really positive impact on people? I don't know, maybe technology helps people coming together, people who cannot be together.
Well, I think just from my experience, so I am, let's say, away from my friends and family in Luxembourg, and prior to coming to Luxembourg, I lived in Hong Kong. So honestly, when you are, let's say, away from your friends and family, technology is a real enabler that, okay, previously you could write a letter, but you did not have, I would say, the instant gratification and discussion, whereas now I can take out my phone, I call on Skype, WhatsApp, Facebook, however, and I am able to speak to my grandma. Even my 83-year-old granddad knows how to use a phone, so I can always call him to say, oh, I wish you a Merry Christmas.
Good.
Okay. Would you like to add anything, Sybil?
I fully agree with Andrew. I was thinking this is also the most positive impact that I see, that you can be with your friends that are far away just in a few seconds, launching a video call, and definitely I would say this is the most positive impact that I see. Yeah.
I guess for you also, shopping online
Yeah.
has gotten better and saves time, let's be honest.
Yes, yeah.
And
it's a big
you can
time saver.
still give great gifts.
Yeah, that's true. Big time saver.
Yes. Now, let's go to the difficult questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
Always.
That's the spirit. Which changes you think are impacting us negatively as individuals and as a society?
Well, I think we are producing way too much waste, more than in the past for sure. And we are pushed more and more to mass consumption. And all these technological products, such as mobile phones, tablets, they are not the most recyclable devices. So I would say this is really the most negative impact that I see. Yeah.
Would you like to add anything, Andrew?
Well, not to counteract what I said, but it's great that you can, I would say, contact anyone at any time, but it's not the same as really being there physically with them. So often now, if I went back to the UK, my home, I can meet my friends in the pub, we catch up, we tell stories. I think some of these moments you miss just staring at your screen. You are talking to them, but I would argue you are not really communicating with them. It's just not the same feeling, right? And
that's true.
And I think also now, again, I would say Christmas is like the other holidays. It's very much consumerism, and you have to compete with the next person. So if you don't take a wonderful Instagram photo of your Christmas tree with the presents, did it really happen? So this is the side that I don't like also in society these days, that it's very much about, I would say, the photo, the moment, rather than enjoying let's say enjoying with your friends and family.
Yeah, that's true. And as we talked before as well, the fact that now everyone has their own gadgets during Christmas Eve. And I remember before we just had the TV, so we all had to watch the same thing. And as you said, now, well, we have different gadgets, so we can be on our phone sending messages and not being fully present in the day, which is, in my opinion, a negative impact. But I think that as well, to add to this, it's true that there is a lot of consumerism, but I see with the years that people are changing a bit their mentalities. Some people, and they are being more mindful about what they buy and where they buy it and how as well. So, okay, let's talk about nostalgia. We all get nostalgic sometimes, and the Christmas period can be perfect for that. So speaking of it, if there is one thing you would like to bring back from pre-technology times, what would that be? I'm looking at Andrew.
maybe a quite strange answer, but I think for me, so again, my grandma is Scottish, and she tells some of the most wonderful stories in the world. And I think being nostalgic, okay, I think again, growing up and listening to some of these stories, you were mesmerized of like, how can she keep your attention for hours and hours on end? And now, honestly, I don't have the same. So when I think of Christmas, I think about this, and it makes me nostalgic to say, okay, I just don't see, let's say, the art of storytelling the same as how it used to be.
Okay.
Same for me. You're stealing my answer.
It was. I promise we didn't swap. You know.
No, really, storytelling of the grandparents.
Oh, that's very sweet.
How about you? We have to flip the script, you know. You have to answer also.
To pre-technology times, I think that's it. Exactly. It's when people were not looking at their screens, doing their own thing. And yes, my grandparents would be talking about things, not necessarily telling stories, but I think this is indeed something. And also, I wish people would send more cards. I'm a big fan of cards, as you can see.
Okay, I'm your enemy then. My wife, I am terrible at sending cards. So.
Well, I know that this is also not super environmentally friendly, but there's such a personal touch to send a card instead of a text message, for instance. So this is something that I would like to see more. And I think also the fact that it's so focused on consumerism, and the tradition of it is a bit lost, I think. It's more about the gifts than anything else at this point. So, and that's my next question for you. So I feel that Christmas has been stripped from its core idea, which is, commemorate the birth of Jesus Christ. And it's now all about gifts. Do you think so? And do you think we are losing certain values or traditions?
Tough question.
I told you, tough questions now.
Two sides. Well, I guess it all depends on your personal circumstances. And for example, if I refer to my family, so my grandma and granddad would always go to a Christmas carol service, whereas I think the younger generation have no interest. But I would also say this follows a wider society trend of, let's say, people not going to church as much and being less involved. So I would say from that point of view, but I think also as society becomes more multicultural, it allows different faiths, different cultures to also enjoy Christmas. And I think it depends, of course, on what is your meaning of Christmas. But if you take a step back and say Christmas is all about giving gifts and making other people happy, I would say this still exists. But I guess from a consumerism perspective also, it's being hijacked to say, you have to give. If you don't give a gift worth €100, it's not special. So exactly. I think there's pros and cons, and you can have arguments on either side.
I think that's a very good answer.
Good.
I agree.
It's absolutely right. And I think Christmas is a good time to give, but it doesn't have to be an expensive gift. And it's, I think, most of all about remembering your family, your friends, and show that you care and you love them.
Yeah, I agree. Anyone can buy a gift, but if you buy something personalized with some thought, it's how, at the end of the day, it's how you made the person feel. And I think if it's personalized and given to that person, it really makes a big difference.
Yes, I think for me, one thing that I dislike about Christmas is that I get a lot of things that I don't like, I'm not going to use. Of course, I can give them back to someone who might like them, re-gift. I don't know if that's an English word. But, and I'm sometimes, first of all, I wonder, okay, this person doesn't know me very well.
Okay, that's a message for your family.
Maybe. Or yes, that's one point. But the other thing is sometimes I feel this is a gift just to give something, whether I would rather not receive anything and to have something that I will use and take advantage of.
Yeah. It's true.
Okay. Now we're talking about buying presents and wrapping them and lighting, and Sybil also mentioned this before, and so did I. This all creates a huge waste. We read in an RTL Today article that in Luxembourg, families tend to create on average 30% more waste around the holidays than throughout the year. This was, by the way, full disclosure, from 2019, so I don't know what are the numbers now. Do you have any tips on how to have a more eco-friendly Christmas? Something that you do yourselves?
Yeah, a few tips to share. So maybe to buy sustainable gifts locally if possible, using LED Christmas lights, reducing food waste also. And I read recently about gifts wrapping with tissues.
Yes.
So I must say that I did not take the time to test it so far, but yeah, maybe next year.
It's a good idea. You can either use cloth kitchen that people can use in their kitchens, or there are some more fancy versions, but I think that because they cost like 7-8 euros, and there I'm like, okay, that's quite an expensive gift then. But yes, you have that option. It's true that those are very good tips. And you, Andrew, do you have any tips?
Well, I think from personal experience, again, just being mindful of the food and the drinks you are buying, because I think, especially in the UK, you know you are meeting your family, your friends, so often you say, oh, I better buy this just in case someone comes, and then in the end, you are left with a lot of things. So I know personally, I am eating turkey sandwiches for 2 weeks after the Christmas dinner to try and use everything. So yeah, I think just be mindful, and often buy what you need, and if there's something, you can always nip to the shops and buy more.
That's true. Yes, food waste is a very good point. I hadn't thought about it, but it's true. And gadget-wise, I think a good tip is to think of gadgets that will last. Although this is very hard, I know it's not gadgets are not meant to last, but there are some that are more in that way. Okay, so that's the end of our difficult questions. Or at least I think so. I don't know. Maybe this is a tough one as well. What is your favorite memory of Christmas?
Shall I start?
Go for it.
I would say that I have a lot of nice Christmas memories, and I hope that all people that are listening to this podcast do as well. So the Christmas atmosphere at my parents' house for Christmas Eve, listening to the German Christmas song of my father, and eating the nice French traditional Christmas dinner of my mum. So these are definitely good memories. But by far, my best memory is really the look on the face of my daughter when she first looked at the Christmas tree. So she was just a baby, and I will never forget that. This is definitely one of the most beautiful memories and photos that I have.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, well, I also have a daughter, so honestly, this would have been one of my answers also, because as a parent, there is nothing better than seeing your kids, their eyes, they are so wide and they are so excited. So honestly, from this side, yes, but I guess if I think back more personally when I am younger, I remember there was one Christmas day and it was snowing. So my dad and my uncle decided, it's a great idea that we go on a bike ride. On Christmas Day, I had never done it before, and it was snowing, it was freezing, and where I live, it's quite hilly. So I remember we went outside and we were stuck for 2 hours in the middle of nowhere with no food or drink. So it was not the best idea in hindsight, but now, looking back, it was an enjoyable time, and it's one of those things that you never forget.
Exactly.
Cool.
Very, very nice. And I have another question that just popped up. So what about food? What kind of food? Because you mentioned food, Sybil. So what is typical dishes in France? Or what does your mom cook? Too many things?
Too many things. So, the French cuisine is quite rich. There are a lot of recipes.
What is your favorite?
All of them.
So there's no food waste in your house?
No, then never. No, there's no food waste because I have two chicken in my garden. So everything that we do not eat, they eat.
Lucky chicken.
Yeah, really lucky chicken, especially after Christmas, you know. No, but one of our favorite dish in France, I'm pretty sure you all know the famous foie gras.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay. So there are really good addresses in France near the Lux border. If you would like to have, I can give you some good addresses. But yeah, this is one of the most famous, I would say, that most of people enjoy.
And you, Andrew?
Well, again,
you mentioned turkey, so
traditional, yes. In Hong Kong one time, embarrassingly, I did order KFC for Christmas dinner. This was a very unique, and my wife never lets me forget. But traditionally, yeah, we have, I would say, it's a very well set routine. So for starter, there's asparagus soup and prawn cocktail. So this is always the case. And then yes, for main, we have a turkey, Brussels sprouts, potatoes, Yorkshire pudding. Quite a nice, like a Sunday roast, I would say, but instead. And then yes, to finish, we have a Christmas pudding. So yeah, I always remember again when I was younger lighting it on fire and running away, being scared I would set the house on fire. But luckily I never did, and it was always nice to look at.
Okay, nice. And well, I'm from Portugal. Can you guess what is one of the typical dishes that we have for Christmas?
Bacalhau.
Yes, that was very easy actually, right? But yes, that's it. Okay, I think that's all. Don't know if you want to add anything from my questions.
Thank you for inviting us. That was really a nice experience.
Thank you.
I hope that everyone enjoyed it as much as I did.
I think so. I did.
No, me too. It was wonderful. And yeah, I just would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and all the best for the next year.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
Merry
Thank you very
Christmas.
much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And that's all for today. This is Tech Talk, technology made simple over a cup of coffee. Thank you for listening. We will be taking a small break for the next 2 weeks, but until then, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll see you back in 2022.